All right, hello everyone. My name is Jen. I am a second-year professional pharmacy student here at Purdue. Today I decided to focus my presentation on a trend that I've been noticing in myself, as well as in my peers and those around me, and that's apathy. I don't know. So apathy, I believe, is a direct obstacle to leadership, and today that's what we're talking about. So I'm really committed to helping people kind of step out of their comfort zone and then take that first step towards doing something that would make a change, that would make a difference, whether that's in their own lifestyle, whether that's in society, in their classes, or to someone else. So first off, what exactly is it? To put it simply, Merriam-Webster defines it as a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. So essentially, it's the emotion of being emotionless. So I'd like you to take this time to think about a few things that you may have become apathetic towards. Maybe it's a class or a club that you're in. It could be something that you used to be passionate about, and now for some reason you just can't seem to go back to enjoying it. So now I almost see apathy as something worthy of being classified as an endemic, especially in certain settings, such as college campuses. Right now there's almost this pervasive culture in university students where you just want to show how much worse off your life is compared to others. So think about how often you've heard or maybe even had a conversation with a fellow student where one of you complains about, oh, I have 2 exams coming up this week, and the other person immediately responds with, that's great, but I have 3. So when individuals get into this game of trying to one-up each other, it demonstrates a larger social trend in which people exhibit a complete disregard and lack of empathy for others. And when we become apathetic, we lose the ability to care about others, and instead we catalyze a series of especially dangerous mindsets and norms that can significantly impact both you as an individual and society as a whole. In individuals, apathy will decrease what we in the medical field call your quality of life, so how much you want to go through your day-to-day activities. Tasks definitely seem meaningless when there's no passion or drive behind them, and then apathy also decreases your ability to be vulnerable, which is something that I'll get into later in the presentation. But on a greater scale, apathy can hinder societal change. If you think about it, all significant historical events came about by someone recognizing a problem and then taking the initiative to do something about it. So someone once said, a lack of love can cause people to have no help when they need help and no friends when they need friends. So in a sense, the most dangerous thing in the world is apathy. We think of weapons, violence, warfare, disease as terrible dangers, and indeed they are, but we can take measures to avoid them. But once our apathy takes hold of us, we can no longer avoid it. As college students, it's so easy to fall into this cycle of getting stressed and overwhelmed with classes, with personal issues, with other drama that just comes with being in college, and then using the excuse, I just simply don't care anymore, to try and displace some of that anxiety, despite knowing that ignoring a problem will rarely ever make it go away. Luckily, I've been fortunate enough to be involved with so many organizations that have taught me ways to kind of lift myself up out of this state of apathy, and I'd like to go ahead and share these with you all. So the first organization is the QPR Institute. So for those of you that are outside of the medical field, QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer, and the Institute hosts certification programs that are designed to help train healthcare professionals and then kind of give them strategies for reaching out to someone that they suspect might be in a crisis. And although this was originally designed to be a suicide prevention initiative, many of the strategies discussed I felt could also be applied to today's topic. So the 4 main strategies include taking the first step, building relationships, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, and having confidence in your abilities as well as their significance. Recognizing that you have become apathetic and also recognizing that you need to actively work towards improving is the first step and is often the most difficult part. You can combat this by taking a few minutes at the end of the day to self-reflect on what you may have dismissed or disregarded that you should have given more attention to. And once you're aware of these, it becomes easier to address. Or for those of you who aren't particularly confident in your self-reflection skills, you might find this second option to be a bit more helpful. So the second option is to build your relationships. Make the effort to build deep, lasting relationships that go beyond the superficial. That way, if or when you begin to exhibit signs of apathy, they'll be able to tell and will hopefully let you know and help pull you out of that downward spiral. So this is something that I noticed last semester. I was struggling a lot with keeping up with classes, with exams. I had a whole basket full of personal issues that I had to sort through. And I found myself becoming apathetic as a defense mechanism to avoid the stress. But my brothers from Phi Delta Chi, which is a professional pharmacy fraternity, they began noticing when I started missing class, and then when I seemed more tired and withdrawn when I was with them. So they, along with a few professors, took the initiative to reach out to me and express their concern. And it was only after hearing just how many classes I missed, just how long it had been since I last had a conversation with them, that's when I truly realized how deep I had sunk, and only then was I able to pick myself up and begin functioning again. So that brings me into my next strategy, which is allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Letting others see who you really are, including your flaws, is definitely a terrifying thing to do because there's always the risk of getting hurt in return. But vulnerability is what enables us to relate to one another, to develop emotional health and stability, and to empathize on a deeper level than the superficial. Showing passion and motivation, and showing emotion in general, is the epitome of vulnerability. And as someone once said, the dynamic state of feeling is the antithesis of apathy. And the last strategy is to have confidence, both in your significance and your ability to create change. A major cause of apathy is the idea that a single individual's choices and actions will have no important impact in the long run. However, the fundamental mistake of this idea is the notion that in order for an action to be important, it has to be wide-reaching and extensive. But every choice is significant, even if it's something that affects just one person, and even if that one person is yourself, because at least it had an effect. So be bold, be confident, be your own leader so you can lead others, and have the courage to stand out and be that single person that shows they care, even if it may seem insignificant and even if it may seem worthless. Because no matter what, that's always better than having no impact at all. Thank you.